Pronouns are words that stand in for other nouns. Here's a man and a woman. If we were writing about them, we might use the terms a man and a woman, but we also might use the pronouns he or she. But depending on what we're writing about, we also might use the pronouns him and her. What's going on? Well, clearly there are different forms of pronouns, and it all really turns on whether we're talking about subjects or objects. In this lesson, I want to look at that in detail, and I also want to look at some of the pronouns that cause us problems, particularly me, myself and I, and also who and whom. An English sentence must have a subject and a verb, and usually an object. Take a look at this example. She read the book. In this case, she is the subject, read is the verb, and the object is the book. The subject of the sentence is the person or thing that's carrying out the action of the verb, while the object is the person or thing that is involved in the action. The object isn't doing whatever it is, but may have it done to them. Here are some other examples. I love cakes. She hates dogs. We ate the peanuts. In each case, I, she or we are the subjects, love, hates and ate are the verbs, cakes, dogs and the peanuts are the objects. In English, we know what the subject is and what the object is by where they're placed in the sentence. The standard English sentence follows the pattern of subject, verb, object. In many other languages, however, whether a noun is the subject or the object is determined not by its position in the sentence, but by the ending of the word, which changes. This is called inflection, and some of the most highly inflected languages are Latin, Polish and Finnish. In Latin, for example, you can change the order of the words in a sentence, but you still know what's happening because of the word endings. Not so in English, because for the most part, we don't change endings. Word order is all important. The man ate the chicken does not mean the same as the chicken ate the man. Now, although we've said that in English we don't generally change a word's appearance depending on whether it's a subject or an object, there are exceptions. Look at these. I love you, you hate me. Let's break them down into subjects, verbs and objects. I and you are the subjects. Love and hate are the verbs. You and me are the objects. The word you acts as an object in the first sentence and as a subject in the second. But where did that me come from? We don't say you hate I. Here, the personal pronoun changes from I to me when it changes from a subject to an object. And that's an important one to remember. Here's an example of where people often get it wrong. Is it they awarded the Nobel Prize to Albert and I, or they awarded the Nobel Prize to Albert and me? Which of the pronouns is right? To simplify it, let's take Albert out of the picture. Is it they awarded the Nobel Prize to me, or they awarded the Nobel Prize to I? Well, the pronoun here should be me, because we're dealing with the object of a sentence. What if I become the subject of the sentence along with my friend Albert? This time, is it Albert and I received the prize, or Albert and me received the prize? Well, of course, it should be Albert and I. Those who are a bit puzzled by this sometimes resort to using the word myself instead of the word I or me. But this is equally wrong. Myself should only be used in two very restricted situations: when you are emphasizing or contrasting two people, or when you are doing something to yourself. Here are some examples. Albert was pleased, but I myself was overjoyed. There, the contrast between Albert and I. Or, I cut myself shaving. I asked myself why I was so happy. There, talking about things we're doing to ourselves. Another set of pronouns that causes problems is who and whom. We use the word who when it's the subject and whom when it's the object. Look at these examples. Is it who goes to school or whom goes to school? Is it who will you meet or is it whom will you meet? To work this out, you should ask the question, can I replace the who or the whom with the words she or her? If I can replace it with she, then we're dealing with a subject, and we should use the word who. If, however, I should replace it with her, it's an object, and we should replace it with whom. So, who goes to school? The answer would be she goes to school, not her goes to school. So because it's she, it's a subject, and it should be who. Who will you meet or whom will you meet? I will meet her. So there, it's an object, and it should be whom. In this lesson, we've looked at some rather awkward pronouns. And to help us do that, we've done a little bit of revision trying to remember about subjects and objects. We've focused on me, myself and I, and we've looked, of course, at who and whom. And hopefully learned that there are some quite simple rules here that we should follow. Let's leave the last word to Anton Chekhov, the Russian playwright, who wrote, doubtless in one of his grumpier moods, "How unbearable at times are people who are happy, people for whom everything works out." Who are happy? They are happy. For whom does everything work out? Everything works out for them. If you would like to find out more about writing, why not subscribe to this channel? Or take a look at 2 of my books, which were written specially for those who find it difficult. Also, you can keep in touch on Twitter and follow my blog, The Business of Discovery. I look forward to seeing you next time.